Hi, everybody. This is Danielle Dietrich with some huge news for disadvantaged business enterprises and airport concession disadvantaged business enterprises. So, earlier this week, right around the time of the government shutdown, the USDOT issued an interim final rule. Interim final rule. I'm not sure why it's titled that. And associated guidance related to these programs. And essentially, what this guidance and interim final rule, which is essentially changes to the existing regulations that have not gone through the legislative process. So, what this does is it tries to get the program in line with this administration's policy that is strongly against presumptions of social and economic disadvantage based on race, ethnicity, and sex. And this also comes while that consent order, pretty much trying to have the government admit that the program is unconstitutional. That consent order is still pending in the Mid-America case. So I'm not sure if this is just what the current government is doing because that order hasn't been entered yet, and that order has been challenged. But here's the scoop. This is huge news. It affects every single DBE or ACDBE, so hold on to your hats. So the interim final rule says that each state, the UCP, in making decisions regarding whether or not a company is a DBE, they may not use race or sex-based presumptions in determining eligibility for the program. Okay, I kind of saw that one coming. That was kind of where I thought this program was going to go. But here's the part that's going to affect all of you. They're ordering that all the UCPs must reevaluate the eligibility of every single existing DBE and ACDBE under these newly implemented certification standards. So that means every single DBE and ACDBE out there is going to have to probably not fully reapply, but at least do a personal narrative, which that's going to be very challenging because there's no guidance given as to how these determinations are supposed to be made. For me, I would argue that they should follow the process that is currently in place for individuals who are not presumed to be disadvantaged to gain certification. You can, if you are not a woman or a person of one of the ethnic and racial backgrounds that has the presumption of disadvantage, you can still apply for the DBE and ACDBE program and get it. And a lot of times that's, folks who have a disability or maybe fall into one of the groups that is not presumed to be disadvantaged, but can clearly demonstrate that they have been disadvantaged. And those are very difficult. That bar is very high. So this could potentially be very challenging because there's no other guidance given as to how these decisions are supposed to be made. And if the DBE or ACDBE, even if they have been certified and recertified for 20 years or more, if they can't meet these new standards, they must be decertified. And then here, this is one of the biggest issues, the decertification procedures under 26.87, so that's your right to hearing, right to present evidence of the regulations, that there's no application here. They specifically say that 26.87 does not apply. And so that means you're not going to have a right to a hearing. You're not going to have a right probably to appeal. That's another question. Can you appeal to the USDOT? I mean, the USDOT hasn't been hearing appeals since the new administration took over. So huge question mark there. So this is a developing situation, and I will continue to follow it and post more blogs and videos. So follow along, but be on the lookout. Every single DBE or ACDBE is going to have to be recertified, and we don't have a clear idea of what that will entail. So stay tuned.